those dollars did not exist. Ms. Mullin.
No, 163 Chestnut Street, Mildred. Can I ask of the selectmen in the future, I guess, if we're looking at about $1 million worth of capital items, can we have them listed in here? If we are, trying to educate ourselves to know what we're going to vote on, can we put that down there? I understand the amounts might change, but I'm sure there's some language you could use in there. If there's we knew 4 weeks ago what we're going to be asking for. Can we put those large amounts in the budget when we get the warrants, or we're going to be voting on? That way, if we do have any questions, we can probably ask the questions before, and maybe not have to tie a town meeting and ask the questions.
I just want to understand your question. Your question is, you want to see the detail in the warrant?
Okay, yeah, we know pretty much 4 weeks ago we're ready to sign the warrant, these are going to be in there, and we try to educate the public about what's going to be in the warrant. Can we put, it's a lot of money, can we put those things in? Then we did that question, or we were thinking of amending it to be a statement or whatever, we'd have a chance to maybe ask those questions of the administration before we got here, and maybe we don't decide that was all through. So if you see something that come in like that also, it's kind of hard to put your thoughts about it, the amendment. It might have given the finance committee too a little time to see the thought that's where the money was coming from. You would have a chance to have finances for it, you'd have a chance to think about what their answer would be.
I think we would all like to do that, but the problem we have is, and I'm just going to give you an example, the road improvement program, $150,000, that wasn't voted on by the Board of Selectmen until 6:30 or 6:45 this evening. So, and I think everyone will agree that that's money that's well spent. The problem is that request would never have come before you this evening if we had locked it down in the warrant. And a lot of the capital improvement plan requires the endorsement of the Selectmen and the Finance Committee. If it just required the endorsement of the town administrator, we probably could get it in there. But this process requires approvals of both the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee, and they'll always meet on a schedule that's convenient for the publication in the warrant. So we have a little bit of a disconnect in terms of how we're able to incorporate these things in going forward. But, if we were to give you all, remember we had $5.4 million in requests. And as administration, I feel that I have an obligation to present the plan to town meeting and to the finance committee, to the selectmen, that's reasonable. I would never come in here and put $5.4 million down and say, well, what do you want to do? I mean, that's not what my job is. My job is to come in with something that's responsible. And it takes time to get those numbers and work your way through that process. I think going forward, we'll take advantage of electronic media as much as we possibly can, but we're doing the best we can right now.
No, I'm still saying, still put the language in there that will allow you to still do something at 6:30, but at least if we get a chance to see most of the items that are coming forward, so if you have any questions.
If I may, Mr. Balcones, having gone through what I went through, I could teach you how to do that. Further discussion? Okay, this does require a quorum, so it does require a 2/3 vote. All those in favor of the article as presented, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Article 11, Mr. O'Leary.
Moderator. Senator Carr is still awake out there. I move the following person be admitted to the meeting. Senator Bruce Carr. Where you going?
We have a motion to admit. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Spino. Article 11.
Mr. Moderator, I move the town vote to transfer the sum of $20,000 from the ambulance reserve account for the purchase of 2 powered stretchers for the town's ambulances, as specified in Article 11 as printed in the warrant.
We have the motion. Does the Board of Selectmen wish to make a recommendation? Mr. Spino.
The Board of Selectmen unanimously recommend.
For the Finance Committee.
Finance Committee unanimously recommends.
Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Article 12. Mr. O'Leary.
Mr. Moderator, I move to pass over Article 12.
We have a motion to pass over. Mr. O'Leary on the motion to pass over.
To pass over just by way of explanation, it's a unanimous vote recommendation of the Board of Selectmen. This particular article was placed as a warrant holder, placeholder in the warrant. The town has the opportunity to purchase this parcel of land because it was, the Mass General law was getting a special exemption whereby the town got first refusal on purchase of it. The process is, the town gets an appraisal, the owner can get an appraisal, we don't come to an agreement on it, we get a joint appraisal. At this particular juncture, the Board of Selectmen does not feel as though the town is in any financial position to take a look and purchase any additional land acquisition for this particular point in time, so we're recommending passing this over and foregoing our option at this particular juncture.
Does the Finance Committee wish to make a recommendation on the motion to pass over?
Finance Committee also recommends passing over. We don't deal with recommendations first anymore.
Ms. Colella.
Tricia Colella, 186 Haver Street. I'd like to hear from the Board of Selectmen more in detail in full and total disclosure of exactly what transpired to have them come to this decision this evening.
Mr. O'Leary.
I'll try a little bit. Full disclosure, it's actually been pretty much out in the open anyway. Again, this parcel of land became available, the town was notified. Under the terms and conditions of the Mass General law, the town has 120 days to make a decision of determination. The board did not have all the requisite information to make a recommendation within the time frame of either including or not including an article, so we opted to include an article, which would provide us with the opportunity, should it be determined that we could afford it, and that it was worthy of our consideration in acquiring the land. Due deliberations and looking at the appraisals came in at, what we probably foresee as potential litigation, as far as the acquisition, should we decide to move forward on this. The board, at this particular time, does not believe that we can afford it. Anything else?
Further discussion? Seeing none on the motion to pass over, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? No. Motion carries. Article 13, Mr. Messeri.
Mr. Moderator, I move to establish a special purpose stabilization fund in accordance with Chapter 47, 5B of the General Laws of the Deposit of School Funds for use by the school department specified in Article 13 is printed in the warrant. Selectmen unanimously recommend.
Does the Finance Committee wish to make a recommendation? Mr. Keller?
Finance Committee unanimously recommends.
The recommendation for the School Committee, Mrs. Vaca?
The school committee unanimously recommends that we pass over this article until April town meeting, allowing time to further define the purpose, the funding mechanism, and access to the funds.
I need that, are you making an amendment to pass it over? Because if you are, I need that in writing. So the motion's been amended to passing over Article 13. On the amendment, Mr. Messeri, for the Board of Selectmen?
The purpose of this article was to permit funds to be put into reserve, similar to the stabilization fund for debt, water stabilization fund, such that when we come upon funds that are available and not needed in a specific budget year, it could be put in reserve for the school for a future year. Unused funds at the end of the year go into free cash. By putting money into this reserve fund, the idea here would be to buffer specific issues of unforeseen that come up in a given school year. One of the biggest issues that have come up in past years has been special education. And this would be a fund to, once it was built up, to deal with those issues. And therefore, I would recommend to vote no on the amendment to pass over.
Looks like the Finance Committee is deliberating, so on the motion to pass over, Mrs. Vaca.
The school committee has been requesting for a couple of years during our budget season to establish an account specifically for extraordinary special education costs. We think that that's imperative for the town to establish and fund something that we can utilize, that we can avoid the use of regular education funds that are not appropriated in April into our budget. That we can all agree on, I'm sure. That's not the wording in this article. This article is not specific to special education. If it is not, then it belongs in our operating budget. If there are funds available through free cash, then we will make a good case for our budget needs, and those monies should be put in April town meeting into our operating budget. We do need a buffer for extraordinary special education costs that crop up after our budget is voted in April. That is true. But we need to discuss this as a body. Where do those monies come from? How are they tapped into? How do we appropriate them? What can they be used for? We don't want a supplementary account for our operating budget. But we do want something to take care of extraordinary costs of special education.